We're here at Spanky's garage. Finally got the block here. Well, block's been here. We're about to load this block up today. Got all the parts over here.
But I don't see
every single thing we need. We got the head. Oh, let's move this. Got all the bolts right here. We're gonna use for the block. Head here. Head's not gonna get worked on today. We still missing some stuff for this, but everything we need is here. And yeah, we should be getting ready to go. He's masking off the block now. He maxed off the top already. We're gonna paint it, and then Spanky's gonna get to work. So I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, got a set of king bearings. If you guys didn't see, I don't know if I showed you guys this. Everybody had these on back order, so I had to order these. These are the pistons and stuff. This is just like thermostat housing and everything. This is the piping for the heater core. What's this? It's water. This is my water pump. This is the oil pump. This is the oil pump, brand new. These are my rods. Went with some eagle rods. They're gonna be good for what we're doing.
Steven.
Eagle rods. And
Before picture of the block?
I have. But we're gonna do it right now. One CP pistons, 1051, 81.5, upgraded wrist pins. Yeah, that's all we right now. Motor's being taped up right now. And paint. Got the silicone we need. All my parts for the head over there. We're gonna work on the head. Well, Spanky's gonna work on the head sometime probably next week. I'm not gonna be here, but we're waiting for, what's it called? Flapping disc, right?
It's like a 3M flapping disc, but it's not 3M. It's from another company. I'm trying out a new flap disc, which it's like a flap disc with a Scotch-Brite. But first, when I do the head, I gotta take out the rockers. I gotta.
Yeah, gonna make it just. I gotta check through the whole head, make sure everything's good.
Clearance the cams, make sure that the journal clearancing is right.
Yeah, because we have, well, the head that I got, the guy didn't give me the original cam caps for the head, which each cam cap is mated to each head. So I got those cam caps from a subscriber. So he's gonna use the original 2 outside cam caps and take the 4 outside cam caps and measure the clearance right on the cams, and then take the same specs on those and then do it on the 3 inside ones and make sure the cam spins freely, it's not getting locked up, and then just go over the heads. And then I got some upgraded LMAs. He's gonna put some upgraded LMAs in there. The head is already done. He's just gonna basically do a maintenance check, make sure everything is good. That's gonna take a little bit of time, but we're gonna knock out the block today. And then once everything is done, I'll bring the clutch over. Then we'll put the twin disc on, and then check the tranny, open the trans, make sure the trans is good, and then we'll throw this bitch in. But for right now, we're just taping it up. And next part will be painting, so I'll show you guys when we paint it more.
When I do the head, this is something you do not attempt unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, true. He knows what he's doing. A lot of people don't really mess with that, but he's done it before. But you can pretty much fuck up, right, if you don't do it right.
Yeah. So you can take out too much. And if you take out too much, you get the clearancing wrong. It's something that supposed to be line bore. They call it a line bore on it. But the price to line bore a stock cylinder head is pretty expensive, so it wouldn't be worth it to do it on like a stock head that just has just
3
a
caps.
valve job and stuff like that.
True, yeah. Well, and he knows what he's doing, so he's looking out. He don't do this, but he's looking out for me, so I appreciate that. And yeah, once we get that rolling, we should be good. Everything. Still got to bring him like the head gasket, the head studs. What else I got to bring you?
You could bring. I should have told you.
Yeah, I forgot to bring. Well, my dad's coming to my house tomorrow. I'm gonna give him everything tomorrow to take.
But I mean, we could wait.
Well, yeah, because the head's not even. Well, yeah, I don't think the head will be done until I come back anyways.
We could wait till you come back because I gotta still do the head thing, which that the thing that we ordered won't be hit to Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. Yeah. So we have time for that anyway. But the main objective today is get this block done, which is in the process right now. And I can't wait for this thing to be done and show you guys how it comes out.
What why? Bloque, no sé. Hay que hacerlo más grande. Porque como te dije, el cilindro 2 y 3. Lo que te va.
What we doing?
So I take a little bit of Scotch Brite, right, and slightly go over the journals to clean up all, you know, the old stuff on the bearings, any burrs or nicks. You see how like there's a little nick embedded into the main right there. So it takes off any little debris, any stuff in the middle, so that the bearings can sit properly and it's a clean surface. So it looks like brand new and everything.
Alright, so Spanky put in, what are those? Those are the main bearings, right?
These are the main bearings.
Main bearings, lubricated.
So I put the main bearings in. So we lubed it up with Maxim Assembly Lube, which has zinc in it, which is good for the bearings, for braking and everything. Zinc helps out bearings, helps out camshaft, so you get a good braking process with it. It embeds itself into the material to break it in properly. Alright, so now I got over here 2 crankshafts, 2 B series crankshaft. One crankshaft is the LS crankshaft, and I got one that is his B16. Now there's a difference in the crankshafts. It's a very slight difference. A lot of people, you know, always ask, how do you know the difference between which one's an LS and which one is a B16? Or which one's a GSR? I don't have a GSR here, but this crankshaft right here on the left hand side is a B16. Now, Steven, if you look down this way, if you put the camera from the nose facing down, I can explain. So now you got counterweights. Your counterweights on the B16 over here is a little bit protruding. The third counterweight is winged, and up here is thinner than an LS GSR Type R. Now, here we got an LS one. Now, if you look at the LS one straight down, all the counterweights on the LS one match exactly the same.
Oh, yes. Yeah, everything here is like...
Yeah, it's all uniform straight down. Counterweights are all the same in size and everything. B16, if you look at this counterweight on the third one is different.
Two,
yeah.
The bottom one.
So,
and we polished it, look at that.
Number all the way towards number four rod. Down at the bottom, you see is another wing.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
No, down towards
this
the bottom.
Oh, right here. This one? Oh, okay, this one. Yeah.
So this, you can notice a B16 from any other crankshaft. So now, this, gotta make sure there's nothing. You gotta make sure all the journals are clean. All right, so it's perfect. Now you're in a perfect position. Now slowly drop it in, move your hand. So when there you go. You gotta line it up. Perfect. So boom. Now
dropped in my first crank.
You gotta put the thrust washers in.
Take you guys right here with me. You guys can see it a little better. So we went with king bearing. Everything was on back order. Pretty sure I explained that. So we went with some king bearings. Everything king. We went with main bearings, thrust washers, and rod bearings. So all of them king bearings. Though, I mean, we was gonna go with ACL, but everything was out of stock and we couldn't find them. So we got some kings, which are great for this application. Spanky recommended them also. He never had a problem with them. So we're about to put in the thrust washers right now.
So the thrust washers, there's two sides to the thrust washer. You got a steel backing, right? And you got the Babbitt side. The Babbitt side has to always go against the crankshaft, right? The steel backing goes against the block. So it's always on a Honda motor, it's on number 4 main. So you see I got the Babbitt side facing towards Steven at the moment. And here's the crankshaft. So the Babbitt side is going to go against the crankshaft and slide in. We're going to slide it in. We're going to slide it in. Boom. That's one. Push the crankshaft forward a little bit. Add some assembly lube to the Babbitt. Spread it out evenly. Same thing. Babbitt side, crankshaft side. You slide it in, and boom. Now you got your thrust. Purpose of the thrust washer is when the crankshaft moves
left and right.
And right.
It stays in place.
What happens is when you have a heavy duty clutch also, you're pushing against the thrust washer.
Yeah, I've seen people that have bad thrust washers and their crank was
yes.
like you see it moving in and out.
That's because you're putting too much load pressure on the crank, so the crank is pushing this way.
Okay.
Now, what ends up happening is the belts and everything are gonna want to push it back that way. Okay. So it's fighting itself back and forth. So technically, what you do is you check for end plate. But this motor was a good stock motor. It had no issue with end play or anything. So just by me feeling it with all the years that I've built motors, I can tell you if there's too much end play just by feeling it. This one doesn't have too much end play, so I think it's within about 0.005 of an inch end play side to side without no issue, because this crank, if you see, is barely moving. So that's a good thing. That shows you this block is 100% true and straight. This crank is 100% true and straight, because this was a good stock motor without no issues. I mean, it was kind of cruddy and dirty, but other than that, it was pretty good. So now we're gonna put the main caps on. Main caps are numbered, and there's an arrow on it. So this is number 1, and you see an arrow. The arrow always goes to the front of the motor, which is the timing belt side. It's number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Oh, let me push that thrust washer down, because when we spun it, the thrust washer tends to come out a little bit. Number 4. Number 5. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lube up the main bolt. With LS's and GSR's, you have different set of main bolts than B16 and GSR. So with LS's, B16s, you have 2, 4, 6, 8 short main bolts. Then you have 2 long main bolts that go in the middle. But if you had a GSR motor, you're gonna have 6 long, 4 short. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lube up the threads on the main bolts. You wanna always lube up the threads on your main bolts and the washers when you're torquing your bolts down. So the purpose of that is you don't get what's called friction weld and binding. So you lube up the bottom of the bolt, you lube up the top of the bolt, and you lube up the first set of threads. A nice chunk of the first set of threads when you put them in, so they go nice and smooth. The bolts, because when you go to torque, you don't want your bolts to be binding in any type of way, because you get improper torque. A lot of people, some people use like ARP moly like I'm using. You can use assembly lube. You can use heavy oil, a very thick viscosity oil. I like using the ARP moly lube because it actually works a little bit better than regular oil. But if you go by factory book, they tell you use, I think it's 1040 weight oil. I forgot, it's been so long since I used regular oil on bolts, but sometimes I'll take a bottle. I got some Torco bottles there that I use also, and I'll take assembly lube and do a 1040 assembly lube mix. Alright, so now we're gonna end up torquing the main bolts. So we're gonna end up torquing the main bolts at 22, and then we're gonna go to 56. So I'm gonna start it in the middle and go out. I like to start in the middle to make sure. And I go one cap, I turn the crank to make sure nothing is binding. So that's the middle cap, and we're still perfectly fine turning. I'm gonna go to number 4. Perfect. There's slight drag on it due to the fact that we're using assembly lube, which is a thicker consistency than oil. If you were to use regular oil, the crank would turn way smoother than what it's turning. Plus, we're not at full torque right now, so once we put it at full torque, we'll be good to go. So now we're at number 1. We're good. Number 5 is the last. And we're good. Now we're gonna go over to 56. Alright, so now we're doing 54. I mean, not 54, 56. We did the middle. Perfectly fine. You always want to, when you're torquing, you always want to check after you torque, especially on main caps. You want to make sure that your crank is still turning, because you never know who had the block before you, if they switched main caps on it, or you know, you bought something and you don't know the condition of it, and you know, they sold you a block and it doesn't have the right main caps on it. If it didn't have the right main caps, like say I would torque number 2 right now, right? Boom. Say like I would torque number 2, and I go to turn it, it'd be like, you can't turn it. If you see, I'm turning. And this is all by hand. No wrench, no nothing. It's all by hand.
Alright guys, so this is going to be part 1. I know we was supposed to build everything now, but I have literally an emergency. I don't know if you guys, well today's what's today? Wednesday, and there's literally like a crazy storm outside. It's like a thunderstorm or whatever, and my house got flooded, so we have to cut it short. But the block, basically the bottom end is done. We just gotta do when I come back from DR,
everything is clean, ready to go.
Everything is ready
to go in. Crank is in, everything
spins freely, everything is ready to go.
Squirters are in, everything is torqued down to spec right now. Now all I gotta do is start assembling the pistons onto the rods, then squaring off the rings. So I gotta foul fit the rings to make sure the rings have their proper ring gap, which we're gonna do in the next segment. So I'm gonna go over how to assemble your pistons and rods. I'm gonna go over how to cut your rings properly for your motor, and then we're gonna put the pistons and rods in when he comes back from vacation.
Yeah, it should be like in a week. It should be like in a week. So I'll put out this video for you guys for now. But we literally have to go.
Sad face, you know, we could have.
Yeah, we could have. We was gonna finish it, but
today.
my house is literally flooded right now with all this rain. And like, it's insane. So my whole house is flooded. So we have to go now, fix that up. But the bottom end is already done. Pistons and rods and stuff will be for the next segment. But hey, at least it'll be another vlog. And yeah, so see you guys. Thank you guys for watching. But enjoy. Peace out.